Hey everyone, Matron here, bringing you another Starcraft 2 commentary, this time the 7th, the final, the deciding game in the clan war between vVv Gaming and EG Evil Geniuses. We saw vVv Time able to even up the series, doing a little bit of a comeback in that 6th game, taking down EG Axlav. Now it is 3 games apiece, both teams down to their final players, vVv Time versus EG LZGamer in the deciding game of this SCL Clan War Season 1 Championship. We will get underway here as vVv Time spawning as the pink Protoss versus his opponent EG LZGamer spawning as the yellow Terran. We will have cross positions on this this map here, the Delta Quadrant map. There's a lot of different nooks and crannies to this map. We can see, especially with these cross positions, a lot of time large macro games develop between players. You do have the backdoor rocks, which will lead to a backdoor expansion, very safe down this ramp, no access for your opponent besides this high ground. And then you also have a natural, which is a little bit more out in the open, attackable from multiple directions, different ramps, and a very large pathways to the center as well. So you can try to take down those destructible rocks and get up an expansion at your back door. Or you can go for a front door expand, which is just a little bit more vulnerable. We did see vVv Time adopting a macro style in the last game, able to win that PvP contest against Axlav, used very basic gateway units along with Blink to take down the superior teched Axlav army. He had Colossi up, and the Blink was just able to melt those Colossi away as he was able to blink in and take them down very quickly before they did too much damage. Looks like we have a 13 gateway going down, and scouting a little bit late here on 4-player maps. We typically see Protoss players sending out a scout after the 9 pylon. You want to make sure that you know your opponent's starting position. It's going to dictate your initial build order a lot of the times. So a little bit of a late scout here, but Terran tend to get their scout a tad later as well. So we'll have both players scouting in the early going here. Looks like LZGamer taking a little bit of a different path, going through the center, hoping to intercept a probe scout on the way, and he will see the probe from vVv Time, and both players look to find each other in their second scouting position here. So they will see cross positions. I wonder if that's going to factor into their decision-making process. May see one or both players go for a fast expand. Do have gas up for both players, so it looks like we will not have any sort of 2 racks opening or 2 gate opening. I have a second gas going down for Time, so signifying he may be going for a little bit higher tech as well. The first Marine coming out for LZGamer, and he's going to be able to shoo away that probe, so no more scouting information for Time. Again, one of the powerful things about Terran in the early game is they can get at that Marine so quickly and shut down scouting. It takes the Zealot a considerable amount of time to catch that SCV, and you almost have to wait until the Stalker comes out before you're able to deny the Terran access. LZGamer, one of the most interesting Terran players that I've covered, as he typically does not go for standard Marine, Medevac, and Marauder pressure. A lot of players going for that MMM ball and using micro to try to keep it alive and viable into the late game. LZGamer uses all the different tech buildings. He will go for mech, he will go for battle cruisers, so he's a very dynamic player, more so than pretty much any other Terran that I've seen. See Time finally catching up with that SCV. LZGamer might have run out of waypoints for that SCV, and he's going to have to skedaddle out of there before that Zealot is able to take him down. See a second gateway on the way for Time. It looks like LZGamer just on 1 barracks right now. He does have the reactor up, and it looks like he is going to be taking down these destructible debris in the back door, getting up a command center. So a very interesting play here, just producing off of 1 barracks. So a lot of Marines in the early going here, and we'll see whether this pays off. If Time brings any sort of pressure, I imagine that LZGamer will be in a bit of trouble, just will not have the production structures that his opponent has. He does have that reactor down, so that's going to help him a little bit. Now getting down a second barracks as well. So investing in this command center in the early going, getting up a 3rd barracks now. So trying to catch up a little bit, but if we look at the army tab, in fact, it looks like LZGamer is a little bit ahead at the moment. Time just about to complete his warp gate tech from that cybernetics core, so we'll be finishing shortly. Again, getting out a few sentries. Sentries so powerful in the early going, as they are going to be able to use those force fields against the Marines and Marauders. Also, that Guardian Shield, remember, reducing damage from Marines and Marauders by 2. So it's very powerful when you factor in the fact that Zealots already have 1 armor, as do Stalkers, and just 6 damage coming from those Marines, so you can cut that damage in half with the Guardian Shield and the armor. Looks like Time created a bunch of units from the Warp Gate cooldowns there, now pushing across the field. This is not something LZGamer knows about, so he's sending this SCV. It's going to be in for a bit of a surprise, going to see this pressure coming. He is getting down a bunker, so good game sense by him, and he's going to try to defend here. He needs to get all those Marines, and now pulling a few SCVs as well. He may have to defend this bunker. If he can load up Marines, it does finish. Looks like LZGamer, in fact, going to lose that bunker. Now trying to tank a bit of damage with these SCVs, keeping those Marines in the back away from those Zealots. And now using these SCVs best they can. Some good force fields there, going to keep those SCVs from being able to tank for those Marines. And a lot of damage on these SCVs right now. If vVv Time is able to push in here and do some good economic damage, it could be very good. Looks like Time actually sending three Stalkers to the northern part of the map. Not really sure what that was about. Perhaps a bit of a misrally on the part of Time there, as those 3 extra Stalkers could have helped tremendously in that battle. That's extra firepower as well as extra HP the Marines could have had to come out and take down. We do see LZGamer was able to defend that early push from Time, so when you invest in economy and an extra orbital command that early, you're going to have to expect an attack from your opponent. If you are able to hold that off, you will have the advantage, as he's going to have his expansion up shortly here. We do see Time just now getting up his Nexus. If we check out the income tab, it is 32 Harvesters to 19. And LZGamer lost a few SCVs there in that scuffle, but he does have 2 mules down from the 2 orbital commands. He will soon have this down and saturated, and he will be able to take the advantage momentarily in the economy here. We saw in the last game, Time was able to get his expansion down a few minutes earlier than Axlav, and he was able to use that time and that extra money to really mass up an army and get a lot of Stalkers out and eventually take down his opponent. So let's see if LZGamer is going to start massing up an army off this increased income. Now 34 Harvesters to 23, but again, he is ahead in minerals. If we check the army count, it is 1350 to 1250. So LZGamer not any worse for wear after that initial attack. Looks like he is getting out the +1 attack, and now the shield, as well as looks like stim and combat shields finishing as well. So investing very heavily in these early Marines and Marauders. Does not yet have any sort of secondary tech building, no factory and no starport, just now getting up a second refinery, so a late second gas, very interesting. We do see Colossi coming out for Time, and that's going to be a good response to those Marines and Marauders. The Colossi with that extended thermal lance, the range of 9, able to take down those units very quickly. LZGamer, for his part, is going to want to stim up and try to focus down the Colossus best he can. Again, those Marauders doing 22 damage to the armored units. See the Observer Time just taking a bit of a tour of the base of LZGamer. Perhaps positioning here, he's going to be able to see the army as it moves out. And LZGamer now moving out, thinking about some sort of attack. If we check the army tab, it is 2100 to 1900. It looks like LZGamer testing his guns on that little critter there. They do work, so he will be pushing out. If we look at the units of Time, he does have this 1 Colossus out, no extended thermal lance, and he does have out a number of sentries with a little bit of energy on them, as well as the Stalkers and the Zealots. So LZGamer perhaps getting a little bit gun shy. Now finally taking the center Xel'Naga Tower, and vVv Time is going to be catching up here with that Observer. So he's going to be able to track this army as it moves into the base, and he's hoping to be able to get out 1 more Colossus before this army comes. The Colossus is about to finish. Extended Thermal Lance is going to be not up before this army pushes out, but LZGamer pulling back once again. It looks like instead of attacking, he's going to try to macro up even more, getting another command center, perhaps pulling back these Marines and Marauders, spreading them nice in a nice defensive formation here. With this concave, the Marines and Marauders are going to be able to attack very easily. They can stim up and get past these force fields the Time maybe want to try to throw down. We see the command center almost complete, so LZGamer will soon be on 3 bases, and if he's able to hold off any sort of aggression from Time, he's really going to be able to take quite the advantage off these 3 bases with all these mules as well. We see Time does have out a second robotics facility, so he will be double pumping the Colossi now, about to finish his extended thermal lance. I do not believe he has any sort of upgrades though, so upgrades very powerful in all matchups, especially this PVT. You do want to have defense and attack. We see LZGamer pulling back here. He does know about the impending force coming.